greetings and salutations one and all. Welcome to a brand spanking new week right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Wanna say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio. The night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Welcome. Those hailing from across the pond, One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you over there in the UK. King Genius, Queen Genius, big ups to you. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Remember, you can catch Clinton Lindsay from 12 p.m. till 3 Eastern Time on the Foundation Radio Network and affiliate stations. ClintonLindsay.com. Big ups to those on WGLRO, home of the Donna Walker Morning Show. The People Station, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Big up to those on PEMGTV.com. Welcome. All my friends out in New York. Can't leave out the New Yorkers, you know. I want to say welcome to the New Yorkers. I do apologize, I almost left you out. I do apologize. IslandWorldwide.com. I hope y'all keeping warm up there. I want to say big ups to those. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that I should leave you out, right? Yeah, man, I have to say, whoa, yo. I want to say big up to those in New Jersey, NIERadio.com. Welcome. Of course, those who are here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. KevinStew.com, so glad to have you. I couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. Yeah, man, welcome home. The sound of King Bubba FM.
I love the sea and I love the sun. I love to drink big bottles of rum. Big up all the men from every country, but women are more important to me. Come wine, gal, come wine it for me. And if you wine good, I would never leave. Don't stop, gal, push it back on me. There's nowhere in the world I would rather be. Oh gosh, you coulda never pay me to leave here, cause I'll come right back, okay? Nobody tell me nothing about my great, I'll still come right back, cause why? Cause no place no better than this. No place no better than this. So if you ain't seen me a long time, put your hand in the air and say, welcome home. Welcome to the carnival. Welcome home. This is the world's greatest festival. Welcome home. So happy to be with family. Welcome home. Can't stay in New York too long and go freeze. I love the party, I love the lime. For me to leave now is a crime. Let me tell you what make it so sweet. I get to drink me rum in the street, and I like that. Big up the police. You make the back and I'll save for we. So I tell them we is family. So if I get in on my door, arrest me. Oh gosh, you coulda never pay me to leave here, cause I'll come right back, okay? Nobody tell me nothing about my great, I'll still come right back, cause why? Cause no place no better than this. No place no better than this. So if you ain't seen me a long time, put your hand in the air and say, welcome home. Welcome to the carnival.
Yeah, man, no place better than this.
This is the world's greatest festival. Welcome home. So happy to be with family. Welcome home.
Welcome back to all the affiliates.
I love the sea and I love the sun. I love to drink big bottles of rum. Big up all the men from.
I want to say thanks to all those that make this possible.
To me, come wine, gal, come wine it.
Their contributions are
never leave though.
priceless.
Push it back on me. There's nowhere in the world I would rather be.
I want to say thanks to Pulse C Media Group for sponsoring the first segment of the broadcast.
Come right back, okay?
When being in the moment is priceless.
My bread.
You want innovative streaming and recording solutions? Give them a call. 754-999-6020.
So if you ain't see me a long time, put your hand in the air.
Or check them out online, paulcmg.com.
Welcome to the carnival.
They take care of everything you see right here on kevinstew.com and more.
This is the worst.
You want to stream an event live?
Welcome home.
Funeral, party, wedding.
With family. Welcome home.
Maybe you have an online class.
In New York too long ago, freeze.
You know, we are gone virtual.
I love the sun. I love to drink big bottles of rum. Pick up all the men from every country. But women
Give them a call.
to me.
Tell them you heard about them on Night Shift, the DJ Kevin Stew.
Wine good, I would never leave those top gal. Push it back on me. There's nowhere in the world I would rather be.
I want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea SU is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you,
My bread.
operating out of Broward County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties with 20 years of experience.
Yes. So if you ain't see me a long time, put your hand in the
Hey man, she brings her table, she brings her oil. She comes COVID free and she'd like to leave that way.
welcome home.
Give her a call, 954-655-9000.
Meet me with family. Welcome.
It's
Oh,
true,
wow, I
it's
love
true,
that.
it's true. She comes to you COVID free and she like to leave that way. You know, she brings her table, she brings her oils and 20 years of experience.
I love the sea and I love the sun. I love to drink big bottles of rum. Pick up all the men from
I want
every
to say thanks to also Reggae Global Entertainment.
wine gal. Come wine it for me.
Reggae Global will act as your booking agent, handle your tour management,
Push it back.
take care of your trademarks, business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more.
Come right back, okay?
Give them a call, 954-998-8034.
Back cause why? Cause no place no better than
They even handle legal contracts.
this. So if you ain't
Check them out online, reggaeglobalentertainment.com.
welcome home.
And of course, GMAT Music Solutions, bringing your event to life,
This is the world's greatest festival. Welcome.
providing sound, light, and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, and singers.
Long ago freeze.
Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622.
So if you ain't
You can also check them out online, gmatmusicsolutions.com. You can do your online shopping there too. Quite versatile.
welcome home. This is the world's greatest festival. Welcome home.
Come on, welcome home. This is the world's greatest night show.
Yes,
It's a night shift to DJ Kevin Stew.
freeze.
Call a friend, tell a friend. I want to say welcome to those who are on Facebook Live.
Welcome home.
Now remember, you guys over there on Facebook,
Better than this.
it's only temporary, so don't get too comfortable. Use the link. It's in the description, kevinstew.com.
Welcome home.
Call a friend, tell a friend.
Meet me with family.
Tell an enemy. Tell the friends of your enemy and the enemy of your friends.
Too long ago freeze.
So in the background, you hear a little chuckling. You hear a little snicker. See, it's true. You know, I'm not lying.
No place no better than this.
I want to say big ups to those in the stew pot.
Welcome home. No place no better than this. No.
For those of you wondering, what is the stew pot? Others call it a chat room, but because we're fancy over here on kevinstew.com, it's the stew pot. You come on in, you don't have to sign up for anything, you don't have to register for anything. You can remain anonymous or you can change your name. It's all up to you. It's just a judgment-free zone. And of course, it's where you come to have acceptance through enlightenment. So you come one way, you should leave just a little bit more enlightened. And that's the goal. Again, my job here is to stimulate your appetite, not to satisfy your hunger. So come ready and open and accepting. Yeah? Ask questions. You know, you can ask questions. You can call in. You can just text in the stew pot. Feel free. I'll share the number to the broadcast a little bit later on. Some of you already know it. It's easy, 773-789-STEW. But I'll share it again a little bit later. But right now, what I want to do is to introduce to you the person of the moment. After I do this quick little intro, it's all her show. I'm just facilitating it. But she's no stranger to this. It's almost 3 years. Oh, lie. Yeah. No, it's 20.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
almost,
more.
It's almost, was it 2018? Yeah, 2018, I think. that we had that talk
Yes.
about parental alienation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you none other than attorney Tasha Simmonds.
All the applause too.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
applause
Thank
also.
you.
Because, you know,
DJ Kevin, I'm honored to be here.
well, I'm so honored that you could make it. Now,
Of course.
of course, I want to make sure that I have the right segment sponsor up at this point because it's not Reggae Global segment yet. Let me fix that. There we go. Policy Media. Thank you. All right. So, thank you, 644. Thank you for that. Big ups to you. Good evening to you also. So, people are already jumping into the stew pot. Now, remember,
Nice, nice.
we have listeners from all over listening on various platforms. It's not just kevinstew.com, the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, but the affiliate stations, One Harmony Radio, Ireland Worldwide, NI out of New York, One Harmony is in the UK, NIE Radio out of New Jersey, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, so Florida and New York connected, and all over the West Coast, you name it. You have WGLRO out of Texas, so you know it's spread out all over.
Yes.
PEMGTV.com, of course, you know. So we all over. There are some people that will jump into the stew pot and some people that won't. And that's cool. Some people that only tune in for the little segment that they get on Facebook Live, and that's cool too. But there's something for everyone. Tonight, we're chit chatting with Tasha Simmonds, PA. Now, first of all, let's get the formalities out of the way. What do PA stand for?
Professional association.
So, you
Listen,
alone
listen,
are
you
a
didn't tell me
professional
there was going to be a
association?
pop. Yes, sir. But you didn't tell me there was going to be a pop quiz.
Well, I told you, I'm getting the formalities out of the way. After this, it's all you. I have nothing to do with this apart
Mm.
from facilitating it after this.
Listen, text me all the questions first. I know I got that one right.
Professional association. I've always seen it and wonder what is this PA thing? Personal assistant. It's not a personal assistant. She's an attorney. Oh, so it's a personal attorney?
Mm.
No, but she's not that either. Is she a public attorney? But then as a public defender's office. How does it really work? Professional
Mm.
association. One person. Professional association.
One person, at least. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I do assist people with very personal matters. So,
Okay. So
how about that?
well, I guess that gives us an intro into that leads us to the question: who is Tasha Simmonds and what does Tasha Simmonds do? And how do we get from Tasha Simmonds to Simmonds Legal? So we'll see if we can cover all of this tonight. And it sounds like,
All of the, I mean, we could get existential with that too. Who is anyone really?
here we go. You see, that right there is why we will always remain connected. That right there,
Yes, yes, sir.
just from that question alone.
You know what? I'm gonna get a little aid from my website here.
So you're
I,
going to use one of your lifelines.
I'm going to. I shouldn't even told you. I shouldn't even say it.
Okay, so go
Uh,
ahead, use that lifeline. So you still have the phone a friend and the 20 and the 50-50
got it.
available.
Got it. I'm gonna use all three tonight. Trust me. Use
Okay.
all three. I am. Tasha Simmons is first and foremost a soul, a daughter of God, a
Mm.
follower of Christ. And I'm the baby of a big family.
Mm.
You know, I was raised by two loving, bath salt crazy parents who came here from Jamaica. Before I was born. I was the American addition to the family,
Okay.
and those are the most important things. And you get Tasha Simmonds PA or Tasha the lawyer out of that because my mission is to help. I'm a helper.
Mm.
Um, and my purpose in life as well, or one of them, is to bring healing. And you don't typically think of that with this profession, but I find a lot of satisfaction with knowing that I'm working with people who are, you know, going through times of their lives that are very, very challenging. You know, by the time you've had to come to me, a lot of the time you've been, hurt. Someone's wronged you. You've been broken in some way, or it happened long ago and it landed you in the situation that brought you to me, and I'll explain
Oh, okay.
that. Because it's the legal side of relationships, and so I am a closeted wannabe psychologist and therapist, and
Closeted.
and yes. Oh, listen, leave me alone tonight, all right? Don't,
So if we can pull you out of the
you,
closet
you
tonight.
gotta, you have to listen, you have to take baby steps with me. Okay, your thing is strong. Just
Okay.
ease me in a little bit,
All
yeah.
right. I got you.
But so um, but that's it. I whatever opportunity I have to mentor or bring healing through, whether it be my job. I mean, law is my job.
Mm-hmm.
Even it's not my purpose. I've had to come to learn the distinction between the two.
Mm.
But in my relationships, whether it's mentoring or actual, blood relative relationships, whether it be in the church setting, the Christian fellowship I'm a part of, I just uh, welcome opportunities to share healing when I can. I'm not the healer. I'm a conduit, or I try to be.
Right. Right.
So I became a lawyer because I wanted to. I loved it. It caught me early.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and of course, a lot of us have the story about both our parents saying you argue too much. You should go to law school. There's that typical
I was
story.
gonna ask
That
you.
was my experience. Oh yes. And then there's the other stereotypical story about I was going to pursue something else and found out it involved too much math, and that was not for me. So
Okay.
I was like, yeah. So wait, hold on. Didn't I want to be a lawyer? Let me go back to that. So,
So there was an
uh,
argument where
hmm
your parents said you argue too much. You need to go be a lawyer, and compounded
yes,
with the fact that math didn't agree with you.
yes, I have to
Gotcha.
admit that those two stereotypes are true. My mother said that all the time, and I love her for that, because some kids are just too mouthy. I was one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and even in her annoyance and frustration, she used those moments to plant a seed in my future. She didn't say you have too much argument, shut up. She said you argue so much,
You need to be
go
a
and
lawyer.
pursue this.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, my mom, she's the greatest. But yeah, I've come to describe myself now as a person who is a lawyer amongst many other things, and that's truly what I am.
Ah, gotcha. Now,
But mhm.
what were you gonna say?
No, I just said I'm gonna stay within the bounds of my invitation tonight to discuss the law with you.
No, no, no. Your invitation tonight was so that people can know who Tasha Simmonds is.
Right, but listen, you have to help me, because I tend to overshare.
Okay.
I feel like you're not gonna help me with that.
Well, it helps to create an idea of who Tasha is, because you have
Okay.
Tasha the attorney, but
Mm,
behind all that there is something that drives Tasha. So Tasha does the whole lawyering thing,
hmm
well, in part because it keeps a roof over the head and food on the table,
hmm
but in part there's another part of it that says, "Hey, I this is my service,"
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
for it to be a service, then something had to have happened somewhere along the line that drew you to this particular service, or the service chose you. I don't know which one is it for you. Which one was it?
Boy, I told you to ease me in, and you just woof with the heavy stuff.
This is
It's both.
easy. This is
It
the
is
easy part.
no, it is both. I'm just gonna follow you. I'm just gonna follow you.
Don't do
It
that.
is
I'll lead you
both.
astray.
Mm, no comment. It's both. It called to me. It piqued my interest intellectually. I was a child who read encyclopedias. Before the internet was what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with a multi-volume encyclopedia set in the house. My mother always made sure there was one, and I would just
Mm-hmm.
read those things and play on. I don't even think it was her typewriter. I think she got that typewriter for me, and she got me an age appropriate dictionary, a big red one. I loved that. I loved that book, and I just read. I just read all the time.
I'm sorry. You said you loved the dictionary that she got you.
Oh my gosh, I still have a photographic memory of that book, and I read it until one of the covers fell off. I just loved learning new words,
You
short and long. I can remember myself laying in my bed and just reading with my headphones on, listening to either hip hop, reggae, or jazz, because that was it for me as a kid. But and just reading that dictionary page to page.
wait. Did you never hear of Mills and Boons or you know Archie comics or
Oh,
yeah.
there was all of that too. Of course, of course.
However,
Arch. Oh
you
gosh,
chose to
we
just
loved Arch.
chill and read your dictionary.
Yes, most of the time
Okay,
it
cool.
was dictionary. I mean, I watched an ungodly amount of television as a child, but aside from that, I just love to read and I love to journal, and so that's what I spent a substantial amount of time doing. And in all my TV watching, I just loved L.A. Law. I
Mm,
loved People's Court. I loved Judge Wapner, and it's just like I don't know why I loved it because I was very small when those things were airing on television.
right. I
But
loved
I'm just like
Boston
I want to
Legal.
do that. Boston League. That's recent. What
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
recent one a remake of something? Or okay, yeah, I did like Boston League actually.
With William Shatner.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
clever, clever writing. I really
yeah.
liked it. Not all legal dramas are engaging to me, but that one definitely was. Did you like it?
Oh yeah, loved it. Loved it.
Let me guess. You know what it is? Is the anti-hero character that's become so popular in television nowadays. They're not a clear moral protagonist. You
Mm,
know, you want them to win even if they clearly don't quote deserve to, but it's just so engaging. It's just like I like this guy even though he does not seem to be bending over backwards to be likable, and it was just funny.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think I actually catch some reruns sometimes on. Is it on Hulu? It's on one of these apps I have.
I haven't
But
watched
yeah,
an episode of that thing in forever.
yeah, I revisit it sometimes. That one and one other I can't remember right now. But so there was the influence of television,
Okay.
and then as to the second one, yeah, something happened to me in I think it was high school. In high school, I underwent surgery for scoliosis,
Okay.
and I was out of school. I think it was my junior or senior year. I did a semester at home, and for some reason, even though everything was good at the county level, my school didn't have I don't know if they lost the paperwork or if they didn't get everything, but I was earning my credits and attending school from home in a correspondence program
Mm-hmm.
via the county, via the state or whatnot.
So you did
And
remote
so
learning, you did homeschooling before it became a thing.
yes, I did. Look at me.
Yeah, trendsetter.
Trendsetter, you understand? So, uh, but actually, that was another thing that inspired me as well because one of the two courses I took that semester was like a political science themed course, and it was just me and the teacher on the line over the phone.
Okay.
And we just talked, and it's like I was allowed to just be my nerdy, political, inquisitive self. I'll never forget him, Mr. Lorberbaum. And he just talked to me like I was one of his peers. And he was just like, I don't understand why you're not in advanced courses,
Mm.
but whatever. But it's like it gave me a sense of uh, credibility as an intellectual. Because at that age, the typical image of an intellectual is a white male.
Yes.
That's what they showed us in the media and all of the different things where that I would access, for entertainment. And
Right.
so
Right.
here I am speaking with this older professional, white male, and we're on par. So that alone was a thing. But returning to school, I had a few teachers that tried to fail me because of absences. Like somehow the absences counted against me when they shouldn't have.
Mm.
And one teacher, even one teacher, my drama teacher, that class had two teachers. They tried to condition my earning a grade in the class on moving these large props during the end of the year play. And I'm like, I
Huh.
can't move large props across the stage during a play. I just had back surgery. So my older sister, who I always say, in addition to my parents, all of my siblings raised me in addition to my parents, really. But there's always
Nice.
been this one sister that stood out, and she's my pastor now. Well, she and her husband they co-pastor the church that I attend. But
Oh wow.
shout out to Healing Place.
Oh
But
yeah. Whoop whoop.
woo-hoo, but she stepped in. She was my advocate because I didn't know what to do. I just knew that these three teachers were being so mean to me. They were singling me out. They were treating me as if I wanted preferential treatment, as if they didn't believe I had a temporary disability that kept me from participating as a normal student. They would, you know, entreat me with contempt even because the school gave me a key to the elevator
Oh
that only
wow.
the teachers could use. And so it's like they just had this attitude like, so what? I can't have nothing good. like
Wow.
Like, why are you mad at me? I'm recuperating. Like, what's going on? So I just got so fed up with all of the bullying, and I just went to her, and she came to school. I don't know what she said to these people. I didn't know what file a complaint meant at
Mm.
at that time yet. All I know is she wrote letters, and she came out there, and I mean, she's just always perfectly dressed and coiffed. This sister, and I all I know is by the time she left or they read whatever letter, I had new grades. I had I had appropriate accommodations. I had everything I needed, and I wasn't singled out and treated unfairly or with contempt anymore because they knew, regardless of their little feelings, if they messed with me, it was going to be trouble.
Mm. So you had an advocate.
I had an advocate, and out of that experience impacted me more than most experiences in my entire childhood. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer after she did that for me.
Mm. Wow.
So
Now that's a
yeah.
story. If I've ever heard one, that right there. That's a real inspiration right there. Those of you who are locked in on Facebook Live, I'm gonna tell you guys farewell. Jump on over to kevinstew.com and join us for the remainder of the broadcast, where we get to learn some more about who Tasha Simmonds is and how we get to the point of having a Simmons legal. You
Hmm.
know,
Formerly known as Simmons Legal, now Tasha Simmons, PA.
oh, my bad.
Mhm. No, I met you at Simmons Legal,
It's true. This is
so I
true.
understand.
Yes. Okay, so folks over here on Facebook Live, sayonara, jump on over to kevinstew.com. Okay, cool. All right.
All
So
right.
when you went off, you recognized then that you needed to help people. You went off to college and decided, okay, I'm going to go do this, pursue this law thing.
Mm-mm. No, no, sir.
That's not how it went?
That's not how it went.
How did it
So,
go?
so before completing high school,
Mm-hmm.
I took what was the only class I could find that was directly related to law, like law as a profession that my high school offered. And I tell you, by the time that teacher got done with us, he was a nice guy, but I guess he just had a very cynical worldview.
Mm.
By the time he was done with us, I'm just like, oh, it's going to take too long to become a lawyer. I'm not willing to do all that studying. I'm not smart enough. I'm not. And in retrospect, maybe, yeah, maybe he was a bad teacher
Oh, wow.
because he was a nice guy, but I just remember I still have a photographic memory of him on the whiteboard
Mm-hmm.
tallying up all of the years it would take to get a law degree. And by the time he finished doing all of the math, everybody in the class was like, "Oh." And he didn't follow it up with anything. No
Oh,
encouragement, no
wow.
resources, no, you understand? And so this is why we got to teach our own. I'm not saying he did it intentionally because he was a racist and wanted to keep us down. I'm not saying that. But this is why I believe
However, it's
we
a
have
thought.
to teach our, well, hey,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Here we go.
you don't feel any pushback from me, So I don't know about this particular guy, but I will say this is why we got to teach our own, whether in or out of the classroom,
Okay.
because we understand the gaps
Yeah.
between starting out and getting there wherever there is. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know if he was just being forensic with us and wanted us to have a realistic view, but it was just like, all bone and no meat. You
Mm.
know, they say, truth without grace
Yes.
is like all bones and all skeleton, and no muscle, no tissue, no softness. You need both, you know?
Right, right.
So so I left high school thinking that, becoming a lawyer was too hard. So by the time I entered college, I didn't start undecided. I started as computer information science because I loved computers. I'm a techie. I'm not, it's not to say I'm good at it,
You're a
but
real nerd.
I'm a real, listen to me. I think
Mm-hmm.
I had, did I have a piece of clothing with the Teenage Mutant Turtles on it? Well, that doesn't make you a nerd. If I had
Oh,
one
no.
now, that would be different. But
Oh, that makes you fashionable. What do you mean?
yeah, I think in any decade that particular brand is fashionable. But I was a geek as well, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
all of my brothers. I carry a little bit of all of my siblings in me. All my brothers, or both of my brothers that I grew up with, were in IT,
Mm.
and that sister I mentioned to you, her husband, who's like, he might as well be my blood brother. I'd known him since 7. He was also in IT, so just computers were everywhere, and I
Right.
loved figuring out things and fixing or thinking I could fix them.
Mm.
So I said, all right, well, I'm gonna do computer information science. Let's go. That was my thought entering college. I went to Florida Atlantic University.
Okay.
So First semester, cool, cool, cool. Second semester of my freshman year, or the first semester of my sophomore year, math.
Tasha's best friend.
It, listen, listen. There's no shame in my game. Let me tell you how bad I am with math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and why I have to be good with technology when it comes to minding people money. I had an excellent SAT score.
Mm-hmm.
An excellent SAT score. I do not remember the numbers, but the reason it was so good is because my language arts and English scores were like through the roof, like
Mm.
90, high 90. I believe they were 99th percentile or what have you. And the math was so bad that I nearly they offered me. It was such a stark contrast that I had the opportunity to like test out of basic English. Like there is an English course in college somewhere that I was able to skip based on my SAT scores, but I had to take a remedial test
For
to
math.
see what math class I need.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in slow math classes my whole life, so
You can't have
so
it all. You really
you can't have
cannot
it
have it
all.
all.
But I was just like, come on, Lord, just you could have poured a little bit in the math in the math jug. But and I mean fine maths, your calculus and all of that. If that's even see, I don't even know what they are. But when I saw all of those classes,
Algebra
I
and
was just like,
calculus kind of
yeah,
got you, right?
yeah. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't say words like that to me. That was my feeling. don't don't talk like that. So they handed me my schedule. I said, this is not my major. You can take this back. Thank you very much. Um, and then I switched to English because I'm just like, well, let's take a cue from my SATs here. So I was an English major for, a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I got bored.
Mm.
I got bored with that and went undecided near the end of my sophomore year. And that is when I had a transformation, like a new chapter in my relationship with God, and I began to pray a lot more that year. I remember praying a lot that year, just about everything in my life, and
Mm.
it was laid on my heart, like, listen, the true desire of your heart is to pursue law, and fear is the only reason you're not doing it.
Mm.
You know. And one of the first lessons my sister ever taught me was, don't let fear be your reason for doing or not doing anything.
Yes.
So that's it. I went from undecided to political science. I didn't know what that was as a major. I just started looking at law schools. I just started planning my future as a law student. And that's how I learned that there was even such a thing called a political science major. And
Mm.
that's what the vast majority of law students take. So I said, all right, well, that's what I am.
Okay. Go on now.
And so from that point, I never looked back. I stayed on the path, as far as school, and like I never wondered after that what I need to do school wise.
Mm. Okay. So here you are in college. Now you have a teacher before you went into college laying out the number of years that you're going to have to put in.
Hmm.
Did he add a dollar figure to that too? Or he just scared you with the
No,
years?
just the years, because
Okay.
when you're young, everything is forever.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the years was enough for us.
So scared you with the length of time it will take for you to get from entry point to being considered an attorney.
Mhm.
Yet still here you are. Now you're going to go for it.
Mhm.
Was it that
Mm.
was it that moment when your sister stood up for you in school that kept you going after it? Or was it the fact that you just prayed and that was the answer that you got and you just decided, all right, I believe this is the answer I got. I'm going to just go with this.
You know, I have to admit it was the second. And I say admit not to make it a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
but because I had already been inspired in that direction by my sister acting on my behalf and showing me what it's like to advocate for someone that's less powerful.
Right, right, right.
But so that inspiration was still there. It was just buried and repressed by the discouragement from the high school class. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was that time in prayer that just sort of removed the earth that had come to cover all of that up in my heart and exposed that again.
Okay.
And I began to feel what I used to feel and just have the conviction that I used to have, like, this is what I want. And I you know you really want something when you're willing to fail, you know? At least at that
Yes.
age. Because
Yes.
around that age, you don't want to fail at nothing. You just want to, you just want to, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And life hasn't taught you yet that failure may be your conveyor belt or your vehicle into where you want to go. And
Yeah.
I was, I was fine experiencing the very thing I feared. That's how badly I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
After declaring the major, that was it. I got the answer from prayer. It was confirmed even. Um, I can remember going to a church service and seeing this speaker, this preacher that I respected. And I don't know why, but afterwards, um, he just sort of pulled me to the side and he said, "You need to be in law."
Mm.
And we didn't converse or anything, you know what I mean? So um, I'm like, okay, I'll take the confirmation, but I was headed there anyway.
There you go.
Thank you.
So
So yeah.
so here you are on your journey, going through college. Now you decided, okay, law school it is. When did the particular aspect that you wanted to practice that your
Mm.
yeah let me phrase it that way, your that particular area of law that you wanted to focus on, when was it that in your journey that you decided, okay, this is it? Because
It
you said
happened
it was
so
political
late.
science, so everybody is doing the same thing.
Right, right, right. Yeah. You know when it occurred to me?
Tell me,
Late
how late?
in law school. Like my last year. Like I always said I want to help children. I want to help children. I didn't know the first thing.
Mm,
And I had a strong interest in a strong intellectual interest in entertainment law and intellectual property. But
okay.
my heartbeat was I want to help kids. I want to help children. You know,
Yeah.
and so I didn't. You know, I didn't know what I was talking about. And your first year of law school, you're really not getting specific anyway.
Right.
You get in the groundwork, and really you're being tested to see if you can survive this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, law school is a drill.
Mm.
It's oh, they know it's hell, and they do not plan on changing that. So to an extent.
Yeah.
So
Which is not
after
necessarily a
getting
bad
through,
thing.
no, it's not. Mm-mm. You have to. It's necessary. It's like basic training in the military.
Right. Hell
Yeah,
week.
that's what. Oh yes. So as a 1L, which is what they call first year law students, as a 1L, I mean survival is that's the vibe.
Mm.
And everything, the voices from everywhere, it's just like, you just got to show us you can make it, that you can hang with this.
Right.
And you can worry about, your little dreams. So, um, my third year of law school, I got an internship. I did an internship, or maybe it was like late in my second year. It's only 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But late in my law school experience, I did an internship with Seminole County Bar Association Legal Aid Society.
Okay.
And my supervisor was something called a guardian ad litem,
Mm-hmm.
which I had never heard of. So, a guardian ad litem is someone that is appointed by the court
Mm-hmm.
to basically play investigator in a child's life
Okay.
and gather up all the information that the court needs about the child's parents, their upbringing, their education, their health, everything that affects them, extracurricular activities, people in their life, so that they can make recommendations to the court about what's best for the child, you know.
Right.
Uh, and when she was an attorney version of that, called an attorney ad litem. She was an attorney ad litem for a 16-year-old girl who was in foster care, who had been through the system, and she invited me to help her on that case. And it was from that moment I knew, like, yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing.
Mm.
Um, it was a family law internship, and I had never taken a family law course in school. So I learned family law on the ground,
Okay.
working at the Legal Aid Society, and I loved it then. I loved it then. I love legal researching, and I love reading about family law and all the little things that lawyers have to do. I like doing it for this field. And so the part of the law that deals with, children who have been taken out of the home and the state have been placed in the child welfare system, that's not quite family law. That's something called dependency.
Mm.
And so I practice both.
Okay.
I've come to practice more family law now, but I cut my teeth on dependency
Mm-hmm.
and grew into family law from there.
So this is your last year, second going, well, yeah, going into your last year of law school. Now,
Hmm.
so you're saying typically by this point in law school, you're studying or specializing in the area of law that you want to get into. Is that how it works?
Hmm. Yes, it can work that way. So for a lot of students, particularly those who do well,
Yes.
you do your summer internship after your first year.
Okay. Got you.
And yeah, the point is, get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Pay back the student
the
loans.
way right, my lord. Ugh. And I'm going to tell you, DJ Kevin, I did not do well my first year.
Okay. That hey, it just goes to show how the human side of you.
I'm going to tell you why.
Let's go.
Now, because I had good grades, but I didn't have, like, oh my God, look at her grades in college.
Even with reading the
Um,
dictionary all your junior life.
mhm. Yeah, no, I had a great GPA up until the end of my junior year. My best friend in college, Esther Marie Lambert, my sis, she passed away my junior year.
Sorry to hear that.
We had been roommates. Thank you. We had been roommates from freshman year, and we just kept choosing to stick together all through.
Yeah.
And this woman was like, whew, she was a sister to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, one day she didn't come home. I found out that she had been in a fatal car crash on I-95.
Oh.
Um, and I ended up getting in my own car accident, and I took the LSAT in a neck brace.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
the LSAT is the test that you have to score very highly on if you want to get into, a selective law school, or to get into any law school at all. You have to have the score that school looks for.
Okay.
And I took the prep course, and I did all of these things, and I'm a good test taker. Like, they have something called the golden shovel. Like, even if I'm not a a subject matter expert,
Mm-hmm.
if I have to take a test, I'm gonna beat this test,
Right.
even if I don't know what to do next. So I'm a good exam taker, but I took it with a heavy heart and with a neck brace, and I didn't do as well as I did on the practice exams.
Okay.
Um, and I also moved off of campus and became a commuter student, which was really not a good fit for me. It wasn't a good decision, but it was just too painful to continue living on campus. So my last
Mm-hmm.
couple of semesters at school, my grades dropped. And so by the time I was applying to law schools, I was all right.
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I had enough good grades behind me so that when I was going through all of those things, even with the drop in my grades, I still came out with something I could get into law school with. So um, I was conditionally accepted.
Okay.
So those of us who were conditionally accepted, it was like a classroom full of us, like 25 of us. We started in the summer ahead of everyone else because the point of starting in the summer was the law school basically was like, listen, based on your application package, we believe you have a potential, but prove it in this summer class.
Mm.
And then you'll start with everybody else like
In the
like a
fall.
regular 1L.
Right.
So I'm like, well, hell, nothing else can go wrong. So let's do it. you know, I, I applied to another school, and my grades, like I said, they were so. Not my grades. My grades were fine. My LSAT score was so. So I didn't even get into the other school I applied to. How about that?
Mm.
So, um, so I got into this school, and I'm so glad I did. Only God knows why, but this was the school for me. I needed to go to this school. So we had two courses, went through the summer, and everybody cannot get the same grade in your substantive law school courses. It's like there's a curve.
Okay.
And so whoever does the best on the final exam or on the two exams, they're technically the A in the class, and then everybody else's grade is scaled based on that person.
Oh.
Yeah. So there were only two A's on the final exams in that class, and it was me and my law school bestie to this day.
Oh
Hey
wow.
Jackie, if you're listening, it was, yeah, we were the two A's. Um, and everybody was just like, "Well, who got the A? Who got the A?" They were like, and they were surprised it was me.
Oh wow.
I listen. I do not fault some of the people for some of the things they put me through in law school, because I was not a conventional law school student at all. So, you know, but so I proved my potential, and I did all right the first semester, but again, not having that life balance and knowing how to keep all of the outside from affecting work,
Mm-hmm.
that's something I hadn't learned at that time. I was like I went against advice, and I sought to get married to my, boyfriend at the time.
Mm.
And what was a wedding planning turned into my first heartbreak.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and it was bad timing because the grades you get in your first year of law school have the most weight.
Oh.
Yeah, so the second half of my first year, you could just see those were emotional grades.
Oh
It took
jeez.
yeah, it took everything for me not to. I seriously considered dropping out. I had already told people I was dropping out. I think I had told the school. I didn't pick classes in time. I didn't apply for financial aid in time. I just, after I saw those grades, I'm just like, I'm done with this. So, um, fast forward. Oh my lord, it's a long answer to your question, eh?
Hey, it's painting the whole Tasha picture.
Okay, okay, okay. I still have paint, so.
Okay, good.
Um,
We still have a little bit of time.
so yeah. Um, I had to fight really hard to get that internship. And I didn't take the regular path of having a first year internship because I told myself no firm would want me. So I didn't apply.
Mm, got you.
Yeah, I didn't apply. I told myself no school would want me. Um, and then I auditioned to be on the trial team, which is it's just a big deal, long story short. It's one of the big deals in law school. I was selected to join. I was like the first black woman to get selected in three years.
Oh wow.
Um, and it demanded so much, and everyone talks about how, when you're not in law school anymore, law firms really don't care if you were, which I don't know if it's true or not. I just said, listen, if I'm going to work and do something else, I want to do something that's actually going to have import into my future. So when the internship opened up, I took that, and I'm so
Hmm.
glad I made the switch. Because that's where I found my calling. I believe practicing law, particularly family law,
Hmm.
in some way, uh, being in the family law realm is my vocational calling.
Got you.
And so I think I value the experience that much more because I could have I could have been denied that experience. I had to sort of sit there in my interview and advocate for myself. you
Well,
know
isn't that what you were supposed to do anyway? You kind of need to. It's an interview. You kind of sell yourself in that, right?
See, that is the thing. It's like, how someone of a certain craft can always perform that service for others, but when it comes to doing it for themselves,
Yeah.
they're more gun shy. Yeah. Oh, I could argue, well, that's not fair. Why are you doing that to him? Why are you doing that to her? Da 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 da.
Right. Right. Right.
But this is like one of the first times where I had to say, listen, give me a chance. I'm worth it.
Mm.
Because I was interviewing with my would-be supervisor, and she had told me, like, I like you. We were talking, and then she opened up the portfolio to look at my grade, and I saw I saw the look on her face.
Oh wow.
It's, and and she could tell something was off because all my other grades, except for that one semester, they were fine.
Right.
And so I said, listen, I'm just gonna level with you. I want to help people. That's why I'm here. Okay. Um, I very shortly just said, listen, I tried to get married that semester, and this ended up happening, but I'm still here. And da 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 da. And she just sat there and looked at me and gave me like the squinty eyes, and she just said, I'm gonna give you a chance.
Mm.
You know, and I thank her for that. I thank Sylvia McLean for that to this day. So, it was there were growing pains at that internship, but it was everything I needed. It was everything I needed. I think everything I really needed from law school, I got in that internship.
Very little of what you wanted, but everything you needed.
Hello.
I got you. You see,
Yeah.
up until this point, you've touched on some very hard hitting points, and I don't know if people caught it. The power of a parent's words to a child. You were
Yes.
told very early. Not that, not chastising you, saying you talk too much, you must be, but saying the way you argue, you should pursue.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
hear
Right.
we hear you saying, but I even wanted to give up. I was as going to give up, but I didn't. We hear the determination. We hear you
Hmm.
leveling, you know what, taking away all the fluff, just being bare
Right.
and saying, listen, for what it's worth, this is why I'm here. Regardless of what is it says on those documents in front of you. This is why I am here. And it shows recognition of purpose.
Right.
And I hope people caught that. I don't know if that was what you intended to do, but that's what I got from it.
I'm glad to hear it. I want to always point toward that.
And it's a good place to point. So going
How you so nice, DJ Kevin? But you
listen, flattery will get you everywhere.
listen. I'm trying.
Don't
Listen.
even be bashful with it.
Go ahead and design your coupon. I'm gonna let you redeem it if you keep. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
So
So
here
yeah.
you are. You've made it through your internship, and
Hmm.
so that pretty much just sealed the deal for you. You decided this
Yes.
is all that there is for you as it relates to
Hmm.
this.
Yes, that is where it happened. I mean, I regularly, I've routinely left that place far later than I should have. I just wanted to work.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do the work. Yeah, but I tell you, this is such a condensed, you know, version of the story. There's so much that I wish I, could share sometimes with other people going through law school who maybe have a unconventional personality or
Hmm.
approach to being a student like I had, or came from a background where, I mean, I don't think I knew or met any lawyer besides Help Me Howard on a school field trip
Mm.
before I went to law school. And it's like you do need two lawyers to write letters of recommendations for you to apply to any law school. And the two individuals that wrote me letters, and I just want to mention their names out of gratitude: Ira Abrams and Denise Dalrymple. Um, I met them like the year, the year before I applied to law school. So it's like I didn't know what it was like to be in circles with professionals. All I knew
Mm.
was, school, church, come home and watch hours of TV. You know,
Gotcha.
um, it's like I wish I could talk to more people like that and tell them like what it's really like to go through law school.
Mm.
Um, because I could sit here and say, boy, it's hard, but I mean,
Not to say
I
that you're discouraging anyone. You know.
no, see, because I don't want to be like that teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. But more on the side of, hey, it's advisable that you really prepare, because
Yes,
there's some curveballs that come along the way that will really discourage you. But swing for the fence.
right. Swing for the fence. That's it. I had peers and uh, school staff alike, suggest to me like, maybe you don't belong here,
Mm.
um, or like outright tell me.
I thought that's only
And
happening in the movies.
listen, this is why Legally Blonde is my favorite movie, and it's so cliche. It's, it's so cliche. I know, girl,
So,
lawyer, all of that. But what I related so much, I saw that movie like 7 years after it originally came out. I had never seen it.
okay.
I don't know, was it 7 years? I saw that movie years after it actually came out.
Hmm.
And the time it was when I was in law school that I saw it for the first time, and I just cried. I just cried because I was just like, oh my God, like God is communicating to me like I'm not alone. Someone understands. Even this character is fictional, and I'm not speaking with her, but it's just like I just felt so like I could just feel the consensus, because I knew the talk was going on. Things would come back to me through people. I would go to these, you know, I would have these conversations just like so for me the campus sometimes just felt permeated with the consensus of Tasha does not belong here.
Mm, got you.
And I had to push through that.
That's that determination right there. That
Okay, yeah.
determination.
Thank you. Yeah, that's I yeah.
Fueled
I
by
and
purpose.
yeah, and you have such just a beautifully eloquent way of of recapping it, but because these are beautiful words, right? Determination is a beautiful word. Purpose, they roll off the tongue and they inspire these thoughts of maybe, but it's like this thing hurt. It hurt like almost every day sometimes.
But
Like
that's
it's
just
not even
it though,
determination
Tasha.
of yeah.
Here it is. You are coming up on this boulder in your life. And you're finding ways to scale it, and you're taking it from the left and you're taking it from the right, and you're not sure how exactly you're going to get over it. You know that you want to, and then here comes a time where you look back and you're wondering where it is, because now it's your stepping stone.
Mhm. That's right. That's right.
So you had to go through it in
That's
order
right.
to get to it, and you
Right.
found a way. You found a way. It wasn't easy. You went through a failed marriage attempt. You went through the death of a best friend. You there were things that said you should not. There were discouraging words on campus by peers and teachers alike, professors alike. You know, everything was saying you shouldn't, except you.
Mm.
And you were
I
saying, I
have
will.
to and this DJ Kevin is why mentoring is so important.
Yes.
Because yes, I said I will, but I had to internalize that voice from Professor Leonard Birdsong,
Mm.
who who constantly sold that into me until it became my belief about myself.
Yes.
That man, that man, I don't think I ever heard him speak a negative word about anyone.
Mm.
And I mean, this was, big shot, big lawyer,
Right.
this guy, you
Yeah.
know? The likes of Charles Ogletree and just I mean he was a diplomat at one point. He worked for the State Department. He was a big time criminal lawyer. Like he's the real deal.
Nice.
He's the real deal, and he prepared me for the imposter syndrome I would later experience as a lawyer.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, it's like he knew what was coming. I didn't. You know, but it's like his philosophy was just encourage people and tell people they can
I
because this all of this is hard enough.
I know someone that in talking with her, she mentions not being able to do things because she is she struggles with just that, an imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
And I'm going to see if she's still struggling with it, and if she is, I'm going to try to connect you two.
Definitely, definitely, we can keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't know that was the name from it until like recently.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And
It's
and
a
and,
real thing.
and the You saying it now is probably the second time I'm speaking with someone who has experienced going through something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that you two talking with each other would be a great thing because you could help her greatly and she could help to hold you accountable also. So
I'd be more than happy.
so
That's what I'm here for. You understand?
and here we go again. It speaks to you recognizing self and purpose. When I first met you, the first time you were on the night shift, we were talking, it was addressing parental alienation.
Yes, that's right.
And that in and of itself requires you to be empathetic but take your heart out of the game.
Whew.
And as an attorney that deals with family law, how do you keep your heart out of the game? Because you sound with hearing you talk, there's a lot of passion in your voice. There's a lot of heart in your voice. In dealing with family law, I'm pretty sure that some hard decisions need to be made. Some tough cases need to be presented. You know,
Oh, DJ Kevin.
how do you get through? You're looking at the paperwork and you're seeing that this family that has retained you should not be the ones taking care of these or this life,
Mm-hmm.
but they are the ones that called on you to do your job. How do you do
Whew.
it?
I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Hmm.
There are probably a million reasons why I should do that. And there are probably many attorneys that do that.
Okay. And as she is talking, we get disconnected. So she goes deep and about to go deep, and we get disconnected. How does that happen? Oh boy. We'll try to reconnect with Tasha. Um, but for those of you who are tuning in on Island Worldwide, WGLRO, One Harmony Radio, ClintonLindsay.com, Foundation Radio Network, PEMG TV, NIE Radio, thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your encouragement. And as we continue to talk and get into a little bit from this, we're gonna be getting into musical therapy. I just want you to know the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew happens every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 p.m. till midnight. Those of you who are new and don't really know what goes on Mondays, it's community and finance, where we'd either look at ways to keep some money in your pocket and way to make some money possibly, to showcasing an individual or an entity in the community, and not just in South Florida where I am, but anywhere in the global community because we're all connected. So we community and finance takes care of that. On Tuesdays we generally do healthy love, where we look at aspects of our health and how we can maintain that, and things that we can and should question in the world of health and living healthy. We address some of those. Anything from talking to your doctor about a toothache to whether or not you should get the vaccine. On Wednesdays, we have real talk, where we look at aspects of our lives where and how we relate to each other, whether your neighbors, co-workers, relatives, partners, whatever way you relate, we look at how we do that and little things that happen in our lives. You put all these together, all these components together, and you get the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. And my motto for the night shift is having acceptance through enlightenment, which some of you would have heard me tell the story came about from doing a broadcast on hate. And if you take the first letters of each of those words, that is what you get. Having acceptance through enlightenment, it spells the word hate, and it's about changing a mindset. We hear Tasha talking tonight about just that. We hear being inspired while in high school by her her sister, and coming to be an advocate for her. We hear of inspirational words coming her way by not a ton of people. In fact, she heard more discouraging words than she did encouraging words as she pursued her law degree. But still, the ones that stood out were those that inspired. And in recognizing where she wanted to go, here it is, she got to a point where she is now, which led to me asking, hey, how do you take heart out of your job when you have these tough decisions to make? And we have managed to reconnect with Tasha. Welcome back, Tasha.
Welcome back to me.
So glad you could reconnect with us.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's funny. So
Mm-hmm.
my iPhone is saying it's too hot. I think I think what it really means is, whoa, I am not used to you being on this so long.
Well, it's probably that because we haven't really gotten into the heated discussions yet. So
Oh boy. And
and
they're coming, aren't they?
well, maybe not tonight, but they're coming. They're coming.
Okay.
But I do
Yes,
want
sir.
to know how you take heart out of some of these very tough cases.
So I don't. I can't. I I and that's me.
Mm.
There are probably many attorneys that can,
Yes.
and arguably we should, but the best I have been able to do are the following things.
Mm.
Number one, uh, decrease how much I allow my heart to get into it.
Mm.
I, I've been forced to learn balance in that situation. And that's a whole other bag of stories.
Yes.
But I had to learn balance with that. And to the extent that I can't really get my heart out of it, I've had to learn to just take better care of my heart
Mm.
so that it can withstand the burden that it carries,
Yeah.
you know? So there's a great deal of learning to say no. When you're a helper personality,
Mhm.
you really got to go to that thing of learning to say no.
That can be a bit
Um,
challenging.
oof,
Speaking from experience,
can.
that can be a bit challenging. I may need to
Hmm.
sit with you and consult to see some of the things that the methods that you have applied um, to that. Learning to say no.
Hmm.
I know it can be quite
Yeah.
liberating when you eventually get
Oh,
around to
yes.
doing it, but getting to that point, where you actually utter the words. Oof, Lordy.
Yes. You know what was even harder for me to learn after no?
What's that?
Pay me.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Don't bite your
Ooh,
tongue, DJ
cha.
Kevin. Come on.
Listen. Listen here. Listen here. Mm. Those of you who are
Right?
tuning in, let me just give you the numbers. I haven't given it apart from the beginning. 773-789 stew 773-789-7839. You can get a little time to address attorney Tasha Simmonds before I move to musical therapy in another 15-20 minutes thereabouts. But yeah, use up the number 773-789 stew. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, and we can chit chat. Uh, See, Marlon is saying he may need to learn some of those methods for saying no. I want to say big ups to Marlon Burrell,
Mm,
Reggae Global Radio's general manager, hanging out in the stew pot right now. And Marlon, really good interaction on Bar Talk yesterday. Marlon was one of the panelists on this other production that I'm a part of on Sundays
nice.
on Bar Talk with Luke Ballantyne, South Florida photographer. It's his broadcast. He hosts it, and I'm a part of the production team for that. And Marlon was one of the panelists yesterday. Funny enough, it
Nice.
was about lines and lies.
I like I like that. That rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
It definitely piques my curiosity. Like, okay, what is this? What is this about?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can check it out. It's online. I had shared it, so you can check my profile. You can look him up. It's on Jamaicans.com. It airs on Jamaicans.com. It's Bar
Got
Talk.
it.
All right. So
Okay. Cool.
apparently you're gonna need to chit chat with Marlon also to give some pointers on how to say no.
Mm. Well, I don't know who he keeps saying yes to. It might, it might be easy for me to tell those people no. I,
Well, I guess yeah, we probably need to look at that aspect of it also. Saying
yeah, we'll
yes
chat.
and
We'll chat.
uh, the what is one of the toughest cases you've had to do to date?
Whew. All right.
Can you think of one off the top of your head?
Yes. Um. Oddly, that former client just called me last week as
Oh,
well. Um. Because it's one of those cases that we started out together, but we didn't finish. We didn't finish together.
okay.
Um. She's a mother of two,
Mm,
and I had just set up my own office. I had my own practice, like, as an entity on paper, so I could do contract work for larger attorneys,
okay.
larger offices.
Yes.
Um, but then by the beginning of 2016, I was ready to go out on my own.
Mm,
So, location wise and entity wise. So I opened my physical location in April of 2016, and I must have met this lady in May. Like as
oh,
soon as I hung up my degree on the wall,
wow.
this lady found me. And I mean, it was heart wrenching. She had two sons. Um, she had them here. She moved to another state with them. You know, dad, didn't carry the way until he found out how child support worked.
Mm,
So, so they had an agreement. This is when I'll see him. This is when you'll have the kids. This is when I'll have the kids. They had a private agreement between the two of them. And
yes.
then, you know, when it was his turn to have them here in Florida, he just didn't bring them back.
Oh, wow.
Or, yeah, he just didn't bring them back. And then he found a lawyer. Um, who filed something in court saying that she was on drugs so that he would have a legal excuse not to take them back to her,
Oh,
which
jeez.
was not true. So the judge did something that was not legal. And I didn't know it at the time. But years later, it came out that this judge, who is now off the bench, he was disciplined by the Florida bar. He was doing the same thing to a lot of other mothers. And just, he was engaged in a whole lot of unethical behavior. But, he basically, the lawyer representing dad, had this crazy close rapport with the judge. So the judge entered an order which should have never been awarding custody to the father when the paternity wasn't even established. When
Oh,
we first met, DJ Kevin, you know me when it comes to dads. I think
yes.
I represent more dads than moms at this point.
Yes.
You know, kids need both parents if they can have them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a culture of not just esteeming mom, but esteeming mom at the expense of esteeming dad,
Yeah.
which we don't need to be doing that.
Right.
So, um, so even though dad is the quote villain in this story, you know me
Yeah.
as far as that.
Advocate for
But
dads. A real
yes,
advocate for dads.
so but yeah, so he number one, this dad is just a bad guy. He's just whatever comes to mind when you say a crook.
Mm.
He's a dangerous person. Um, Before a judge can give kids to a father or award any time sharing, which is what we call custody.
Mm-hmm.
Time sharing is what we call it in Florida.
Yeah.
Before you can give any time to a father, you have to legally establish their
Paternity.
fatherhood or their paternity.
Gotcha.
And when you do anything in family court as a judge on an emergency basis, you're supposed to have what's called a return hearing, which is basically like a follow up. Like, okay, I had to make this quick reaction. Now let's revisit it to see if number one, what you told me happened was even true,
Mm-hmm.
and if what I did should stand, or if we need to send things back to the status quo or do something else for the best interest of the children. So
Right.
always the interest of the children is the legal standard.
Mm.
And the judge just skipped over all of that. I mean, even down to the form you're supposed to fill out the order on.
Oh,
He
wow.
didn't even do that. He just, I don't know if this man did Santeria on him or what. He just, this judge just did whatever this man, and so the judge took custody away from who would become my client, gave it to dad, and then she found me.
Okay.
Um, so this is what was supposed to happen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when she met me, I said, "Well, you need to go to the fourth DCA. You need to go to the appellate court." So we did. I'll say appeals for short, but if there are any lawyers or nerds listening, we did a writ for certiorari or certiorari or however it's called.
Mm-hmm.
We did a petition. We did a petition for writ of certiorari, which means, okay, the court wasn't supposed to do this. They didn't follow the law, so tell them to undo it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the writ. The writ was granted, and the appellate court had instructions where the judge was supposed to do the return hearing,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
After do an emergency thing. And when I tell you the judge did not want to give us that date,
Mm.
he did everything. This judge did almost anything he could to keep us from having that date. So finally, I had to file another motion first with that judge in order to go back up to the appeals court. But in the middle of filing that motion, I I took a week out of the office. I was still working,
Mm-hmm.
but I had some very bad news in the family, and I had my colleague field calls for me. So I was still communicating with clients through my colleague, so that no one would no one would hear me pick up the phone, in tears and falling apart and all of that.
Right.
So my client, because she had waited so long to get the decision from the appeals court the first time, she got antsy. And even if she's listening, I can say this because we're so good now. But it's like I spoiled her.
Mm.
Whenever she called, I'd pick up on the first or second ring. I'd spend all this time with her on the phone, so she was used to that.
Right.
So she got a lot of anxiety that week that I was out, and she ran and got a new attorney.
Oh, wow.
And it was so heart wrenching to me because we were right on the verge, of getting basically getting the judge's wrist slapped for not obeying what the appellate court told him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the lawyer she got after me didn't know how to proceed from where the case was. So it was just like that hearing never happened. Like it never happened.
Oh, wow.
And so she had to go through this 4 years, another lawyer, that lawyer botched the case. And then finally we got back in touch, like while she still had the new lawyer. We had our words and everything, and then we buried our hatchet, and I was still able to support her through the rest of the journey and say, okay, this is what you need to do. There were things that she had to file on her own because she could not afford to rehire me.
Right.
So I said, well, file this, go get that, fill out this, do this, do this, do that. That went on for 3-4 years. And I said, all right, now this part of the case, because such and such and such need to happen, you need a lawyer. So I found her the lawyer that brought the case home.
Mm.
Because this lawyer was my mentor at the time. She taught me much of what I knew.
And she could afford her?
Well, yes, because at the time that we got to that part of the case, I had moved from having my own practice to working for a large family law firm.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I could not say, all right, come, let me help you real quick. I had to say, this is their prize. You can't even get in the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I knew that my former mentor, we have the same heart.
Okay.
So I knew she would help her.
Yeah.
Or at least she met her or something like that, and then called to say, hey, do you know this person? What are they about? Or something like that. I said, yes, that's the one you want. So she was able to help her, and finally she got her kids back. But I told her, after the legal analysis, I said, listen, this is how we got to play it. And I usually don't tell people this in her situation. And I said, listen, I understand you establish yourself in whatever state you went to, blah, 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 but you're going to need to move back to Florida.
Mm.
That's not something I usually do. But and then she went through 2 other judges. And when I tell you, whew, she got all, wow. Every judge this lady got was like either replaced or reprimanded or something. Like it was just one interesting judge after another. And then finally, the last judge she got, by the grace of God, she was able to get her kids back. But it was a very tough road for her, but it was a big fight for me because I had just set up, and here it is now. I had to fight this judge. And it's not just in the sense of filing an appeal. Judges, they don't take that personally.
Yeah.
So this judge had gotten the law wrong. He was wrongdoing. He was engaged in wrongdoing. So it's just like, I got to come up against the system already? I just opened up.
Yeah. Like Marlon said, injustice in the justice system. And
yeah. Yeah, I see it, and I see you, man. I agree. It was very discouraging because number one, I liked this judge. I didn't know,
Mm.
you know, I didn't even know he was like this
Yeah.
until this case brought me back. I had been in front of him with other cases. I mean, just a sweet person, sweet personality. Let me say, I didn't know him as a person,
Right.
but very endearing. Just but he did a lot of mothers wrong down here, and he
Oh
got in
wow.
trouble.
Rightly so.
Yes, and so you know,
So
that is the case that taught me. I've always believed this, but that is the case that showed me that justice, like Mana said, justice is not really the word for the system. It is a legal system.
there you go.
It, yeah, it's a legal system. Didn't you say that to me one day? It's a legal system.
Yeah.
It's a justice system. And what I would hear, excuse my tangent, but what I always try to bring to a case, whether it's to my client or the person on the other side, is this is not the healing system either.
Mm. Yeah.
Because people come to family court wanting the judge to exact revenge on the other
Yes.
person for how they hurt them.
Yes. Yes.
That's
That's true.
not going to happen. Know that now.
So, one of the things about the legal system or the justice system that, or as Marlon would say, the injustice system. But I'm right there with you, Marlon, because a lot of the legal cases that I have talked about on this broadcast have to do with wrongful incarceration. I
Mm.
have spoken with a number of families that either are going through members of their family or a member of their family dealing with wrongful incarceration or have gone through the system with wrongful incarceration. The most famous of them that I know would be Richard Miles, who was a CNN hero, top 10 hero of
Mm.
2019. He has
Yes,
miles
we
of
all saw
freedom.
that.
Yeah, miles of freedom. He had miles of freedom and still runs it. I spoke to him just yesterday, out
Wonderful.
of Texas, Houston, Texas. Um, so I got to speak with him. I spoke to the sister and the best friend of Julius Jones, who is on death row in Oklahoma today.
Mm. Uh,
2020 did a big special on him. I spoke with Jeremy Busby while
mm.
behind bars. He's still behind bars today, and wrongfully incarcerated. There is, um, there was another one. His name just slips me now, and one of the most famous of them all being Rodney Reed, who
Oh yeah,
his 2020 special was just in December,
right.
and I may end up having a different kind of broadcast come tomorrow actually, because
Hmm.
there is a discussion slash debate by a paralegal who is very much saying Rodney Reed is guilty.
Mm.
And the consultant on the Reed case, who has been on my broadcast a few times, David Fisher, who has
Hmm.
evidence that says otherwise. Now, if you follow the court transcripts, it will tell you, yeah, Rodney is as guilty as sin. But
Mm.
the court transcript is just what was presented in the court case that led to his conviction, which
Wow.
means there are things that were left out of the trial,
Mm.
which proves his innocence. And so
Oh no.
some of those documents I've seen and even recently presented.
Wow.
So when it comes to the justice system or the injustice system, but rightly said, the legal system, because at
Mm.
least that addresses the injustices that we have to go through from time to time and some of the illegal practices that end up being swept under the rug also.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Right.
so the in the legal system, and you and I have spoken about this, when it comes to
Mhm.
family court, we don't really get a whole lot of information other than you might watch a little uh, midday TV and see this reality court show going on. And I don't know how real that
I was
is,
just going to say, if that's your guide, bless your heart.
you know. But
Yes.
I have been trying to twist your arm for a while now to get you to do something so that we can
Mhm.
learn about family law.
Mhm.
And
Oh, I'm sorry. What's
and
that?
go on. No, go on.
Well, I mean, I I I want to see I want to see this information reach the community
Hmm.
very badly, especially as it pertains to fathers.
Yes.
There's such a lack of information, and then in their attempt to become empowered, there's a spread of misinformation.
Yes.
And I've had speaking engagements where, like, all of my speaking engagements so far have been to audiences, or topics uh, centered on fathers.
Hmm.
Um, I want to return. Back in the day, Simmons Legal, I would do these little modules. Sometimes they wouldn't be in person anymore,
Hmm.
but this year I'm excited about it. Maybe at least quarterly. I'm still planning some things for the rest of the year
Right.
to get back to that. Whether it's you know, you know a lot of people don't even know family law forms.
Hmm.
Can be downloaded for free from the FloridaCourts.org website, flcourts.org. You can download your petition. You can download, the things you need to file your case, and they come with instructions. You can buy them from the courthouse. There's more at our fingertips and more at our reach than we know. Before the pandemic arose, the Broward County clerk used to offer um, a pro se meaning you're representing yourself, a pro se filing class, and I was on the wheel of attorneys that would teach it from time to time, and they would do that every first Monday. I think since right now they're not able to offer that class anymore, I would like to offer something very similar, if not identical, just through my practice, online, maybe once a month, or like I said, once a quarter.
Nice.
So, is that the part that you were just about to mention that you've been? What were you twisted my arm to do? Remind me.
To come here and talk to our listeners on our regular.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Let's get the information out there to them, DJ Kevin.
Have
Let's
at it.
let's spread it.
So it's just for us to finally finalize. We've been talking a little bit about it, but this is something that I would really want to have happen, where we come and people can get to ask you questions when it comes legalities relating to family issues, and here's what I want you
Hmm.
to do right now, as we're wrapping up.
Hmm.
Say, tell the services that you provide and how people can get in touch with you, and then we can work out how we're gonna do you coming on a night shift on a regular and excite
Um,
everybody.
Again, honored. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. Um, so again, my main practice area is family law, matrimonial law, child and family law. which includes dissolution of marriage, otherwise known as divorce,
Mm-hmm.
um, cases involving time sharing, or what we typically refer to as custody, which is now time sharing. That could be a divorce case or a child support case or a paternity case, step parent adoptions, modifying court orders that already exist. Um, I've been doing more and more appeals.
Mm.
I've had someone else recently come to me, like something happened, and then it's like, well, maybe now I need a lawyer. Um, I'm finding that I love appellate work because it's not political. You don't have to, do you know this judge and da da da. It's just you
Right.
write the law, they look at the law, and there's a decision. But so yes, I can take a case to trial. I've taken several cases to trial. Um, if I wanted to be board certified by now, I could. It's I'm so busy to take that exam, but
Mm.
um, everything family law related, getting in order, changing in order, fighting in order,
Right.
um, whether it involves children and or property, relocation. I've done it all. I haven't seen it all. Uh, there are new antics. There are new antics,
Mm-hmm.
every day. People are funny. People are funny. But, I have over 10 years experience. I'll be turning 12 this year as a lawyer.
Oh.
Will I? Will I be
Whoop whoop.
turning 12?
Whoop whoop
I
whoop.
think so. But yeah, so I've been doing family just about all of that time. And so, if you want consultation, we can talk. For free for 15 minutes. If you want an hour long consultation, there's a fee for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I offer representation, and even if you want to consult and you already have a lawyer, just say, between you and me, should this be happening on my case?
Right.
Um, I don't mind conversations like that because it helps to prevent things before they happen. I don't want to see anyone in the public get taken advantage of, and I don't want
Right.
to see
Right.
another lawyer get in trouble if I can do something to prevent it.
Right.
So, and sometimes people just need to understand what having a lawyer is like. Many haven't had one before. They think, oh my gosh, what are they doing to me? It's just like, no, no, no. It's a part of the process. This is what's happening. It's okay, such and such. Um, so those are the services. I again, I work at dependency, but the dependency work I do now is that's where my pro bono comes in. That's where I get to give back. Um, I do pro bono appeals for the Guardian Ad Litem program's Defending Best Interests project
Mm.
on behalf of children in the welfare system. Um, so I do not offer dependency to the public at this point.
Okay.
But if anyone still wants to do a consultation, they're going through a dependency case where the state's trying to take their kids, or they want to step in on behalf of a relative to say, listen, I'll take care of your kids, or we'll get them out the system and they don't know what to do. I've represented grandparents who needed to get custody of their grandchildren, foster parents, foster parents accused of sexual abuse. If it has anything to do with family and dependency law, I've done it. So I practice mainly in Broward. I do have a significant amount of Miami cases. I really don't take Palm Beach cases like that anymore. I will if I like the case. You know,
Okay.
just you know.
So
But
is it different county to county?
yes. It can be. Each county
Okay.
has the jurisdiction to have their own rules, but most of the rules are very similar throughout.
Okay.
You have your outliers. There's some counties where you don't even have to go to court to get the divorce. You just fill out the paperwork and such and such and such. Now it's all Zoom. I've
Yeah.
actually expanded the amount of counties that I can actually take cases and litigate in because I can appear there via Zoom without having to file a motion for permission to do that.
Okay.
So,
So are you limited only to Florida?
yes, I am licensed to practice in Florida. Okay, I practice family and as well as dependency. Again, that's pro bono. But aside from family, I practice personal injury. I'm only licensed in Florida, so if I'm appearing for any case in another state, I
Mm-hmm.
would have to appear through an attorney that practices in that state.
Okay. What about
And I'll
consulting
tell you, oh yes, yeah, I spend a significant amount of time consulting.
all over the country?
I can, yeah, if as long as you don't mind the disclaimers that my my expertise is in Florida law,
Right.
right? Because there are a lot of states. There's been a move. There's been a move to just sort of make family law statutes and laws more uniform across the country,
Yes.
but each state still has their little permutations and tweaks here and there.
Right.
But yes, yes, absolutely. Even if it's just about, being in court, litigation in and of itself. I love to litigate.
Mm.
Somehow. Both lawyers is like, yeah, I'd rather litigate or not. I'd rather be behind the desk. I love the reading and the writing, and I love being in court. It's all a rush for me. So, um, I would love one day, and this is just me dreaming out loud, to just raise the general public level of self representation and being pro se, so that people stand a better chance in court, even though they have to represent themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things I dream about. But yes, if you want to just talk to me about your case, whether it's a case in court or not, um, 8 times out of 10, I'll actually be able to log into your case and,
Okay.
and tell you what's going on.
So how then can people reach you?
So you can reach me. Our toll-free number is 888. Watch the pop quiz again. I just got this number, so let me make sure. I'm holding the thread right now. Our number is 888. Easy number, 888-311-8511.
That's easy enough.
Yeah, 888-311-8511. Or you can email me at tasha@simmonslegal.com.
And your website is
My
simmonslegal.com.
website is still Simmons Legal. Yes, and there's a little chat box there if you want to send us a chat. You can reach us that way, and then we'll reach out to you to set up an appointment. I do not consult via chat, but we just leave things out there so that you can reach us, and we'll take care of you. Me and my beautiful, competent, sweet assistant.
Awesome. 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 Tasha, I want to thank you for giving us some insight as to who Tasha Simmonds is, so that when people reach out to you now and you give them certain things, one of the things I want to point out before I say this, is that story that you just told about that mother that was your client, and then she got another lawyer when you were going through your family crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That also tells us that you have given of your time and your expertise freely. So it's not all about the money for you, which is one of the thoughts that some people say when they think lawyer. All immediately they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking cha-ching, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not all attorneys that are like that, and it tells me that you are not one like that. Well, I know that firsthand from speaking with you. But you telling that story really shows that it's not just me that you have spoken to on this platform and of as a result of this platform, but it's a part of you. Now, anybody that tries to take advantage of that, you're in for a rude awakening. Let me just tell you that from now. She didn't say it, but I'ma tell you, you're in for a rude awakening if you try to take advantage. But
Thank you.
Tasha, thank you for taking the time out to share how you got to where you are now, a little bit of that with us, and a little bit of who Tasha Simmonds is. And I'm pretty sure we'll learn a whole lot more when we iron out the kinks and the logistics of how we're gonna get Tasha on a regular to talk about family law. And
talk about family law and all of its tentacles.
Yeah, and many tentacles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly appreciate love you taking the time out, Tasha. Thank you, thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you for sharing your platform again. Honored, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about
Yes, sir.
it.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
All right, so you take care. Have a good night, and we'll talk.
Good night, everyone.
When things seem wrong, like you can't hold on, just lift up your head and know you're strong.
Leaving out with some Tamara B.
You think you won't make it.
The track is called Child of the King. I want to thank you each and everyone for sharing tonight, for hanging out.
I know that
And thanks to Tasha Simmonds.
I'm a child.
Check her out, SimmonsLegal.com is the website.
I know that you may not see
And to tell you a little bit of something,
that
Tasha can sing too.
child of the king. I got the crown on my head, put you on my
Yeah, she didn't share that part, but
child
it is going to come out.
of the king. I got the crown on my head,
Catch y'all tomorrow.
and
Remember, tomorrow might be a little bit different with Healthy Love.
I said I know I got the
It may come in the form of a legal debate discussion.
word, and it lives within me.
So we'll see how that goes.
Got so much light, I'm gonna shine.
But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world from right here in South Florida.
That I'm a child of the
I bid you good night.
yeah.
All the affiliates, Island Worldwide, One Harmony Radio, WGLRO, NIE Radio, ClintonLindsay.com, the Foundation Radio Network, PEMGTV.com, and of course, the home of Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew, KevinStew.com. Good night.
Who are you? Judge me, set in my heart. Yes, I know it lives within. It controls my soul. Yes, in my life, it takes control. And I'll give everything to him, 'cause I'm a child of the king. I got the crown on my head, the gold shoe on my feet. Yes, I'm a child of the king. I got the crown on my head, the gold shoe on my feet. Yeah, when this whole world it's crashing in, don't be afraid. Jah got the whole world in his hand. When the old world it's crashing in, just remember Jah got the whole world in his hand. You're the child of the king. You got
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.